edition of Photo School Free. This one is going to be about starting your photography business. These tips are in no particular order, okay? So you might find that you might take one before another one, so that's fine. So they're in no particular order, so just remember that. The first tip is learn photography, of course. If you don't know photography, it's going to be hard to start a photography business. Learn manual photography, and I'm not talking about just learn how to pick up a camera and shoot and stuff like that. I'm talking about learn your camera, learn the manual settings on your camera, and learn how to basically use your camera and get an image, whatever image it is that you want, whenever you want. Okay, that's what you need to know about taking photos. Is if you want to get paid for it, you got to be able to get the image that you want, when you want, how you want, and you can't fail. And that's basically the evaluation of a professional photographer. Can you get the image that we need, when we need it, how we need it, and so on and so forth. So learn photography. The second tip I'll give is get a niche, or a niche, however you like to say it. I don't really care. I'm going to call it a niche. If you don't like it, whatever. Get a niche. For instance, you might see that you might do better on portrait photography, little kids, families, stuff like that. You might see that you might do better on event photography. Whatever, you need a niche. That way you can market yourself, because marketing yourself is also very important. You have to be able to market yourself to a specific group of people in order to maximize your revenues. Because if you don't market yourself, you're going to be scatterbrained, just basically out anywhere, just doing any kind of anything, and that's not usually very good way to make money. So you want to get a niche and button it down to a group of people that you want to reach, and the best way to know how to reach those group of people is to know what you want to do. The third tip I'll say is practice makes perfect. Shoot. Take a lot of photos. Evaluate your photos critically, and by that I mean don't be biased towards your photos, because you might like it and you might be astounded by something that you did. Always look at the things that you didn't do right. And that sounds negative, but you have to be negative on yourself, because it brings a level of excellence out of you that you're going to be able to see in your photos when they're done. So practice makes perfect. Just practice. Always try to practice your craft, sharpen your skills, just be the best at what you do. Number 4, networking. Networking is essential to having a business. You have to network, you have to have people. For instance, if you're an event photographer, you're going to want to know event coordinators, wedding planners, things like this. You're going to want to know these certain types of people. That way you can get your name out there to people that are actually going to be able to advance you in photography, rather than a lot of people know you on Facebook, but none of them are relevant to the photography game. They might just be a bunch of teeny boppers or something that really don't have the money to pay for your services. You're trying to reach, say, clients that have at a certain price range. So networking is a way to do that. Facebook, Google Plus. I recommend Google Plus a lot because it has a lot of good tools and stuff you can use, the Hangouts and stuff like that. But Twitter, obviously, there's a lot of things. So it's like that's the way of business nowadays. If you're not doing that nowadays, your business isn't doing anything, and that's just the bottom line. So if you want your business to go anywhere, you need to be able to network, and social media has to be on the top of your agenda, and that's the way it is. Number 5, you got to sell yourself. Okay, you got to know who you are as a photographer. I never like to overestimate myself, but I don't like to underestimate myself at the same time. It's a balance that you got to find in yourself to where you can say, okay, I know that I'm this good. I might not be this good, but I know I'm this good. And I know I'm better than that. You know what I mean? So you always have to evaluate yourself, but at the same time, you have to be able to accentuate the positives. You know what I mean? You have to be able to know yourself as a photographer, know what you do well, and sell that. You know what I mean? Because you're a salesman now. You have to be able to sell a product. A product is your photography. Okay? If you can't sell your photography, chances are you won't make any money off your photography. So being the salesman and knowing your product, for instance, I know what I do. I know what I'm strong in. I know what I'm not strong in. I know what my limitations are. I know what I can do, what I can't do, things of that nature. So for instance, if I'm selling a job, if they go over my limitations, I can say, well, I have to decline that job because I can't do that. That's not something I do. I'm sure there's a lot of people that do it. I can refer you or whatever. And actually, it looks better on the customer because you're telling them the truth rather than saying, yeah, I can do it, whatever, and then not being able to follow through. So when you do sell yourself, make sure you're not overbilling yourself. You know what I mean? Keep your limitations, but at the same time, don't sell yourself too low. So there's a balance that you got to find. Okay. I can't tell you how to find it. It's something that you just got to go through, and you got to feel, okay, I'm worth this or I'm worth that, and that's basically it. Develop a workflow is number 6. Okay, like I said, these are in no particular order. You should probably develop a workflow before you start selling yourself, because if you get jobs, you're going to need to obviously have a workflow already in order. So there's no particular order that these are in, but number 6 is having a workflow. Having a workflow is essential, because if you do not have a good workflow and you get a couple jobs back to back, you're going to be stuck with a lot of files. If you're shooting like say something where you shoot a lot of files, like an event or something like that, you're going to have a lot of files for a long time because you're not going to have any way to get them to the customer. And then when they do get to the customer, there's going to be a lot of problems in them, fails, different things that you could have seen if you would have developed a workflow beforehand. So don't wait till after to develop your workflow. Workflow is post-processing. Post-processing is essential in digital photography nowadays. If somebody tells you that you don't have to post-process, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay? Yes, the photos should look good coming out of the camera, whether you shoot JPEG, RAW, or whatever. I'm a firm believer in having the photos look good out of the camera before I even get it to the post-processor. So don't even think for a second that I'm saying just shoot crappy photos and then over-process them. I'm just saying that every digital file that you sell to a customer should be processed. And the reason why is you want perfection. Okay? You might have did everything right beforehand, but your white balance might have been off by 100 Kelvin, and you just notice it just slightly, and it just irritates you. You go on post-processing RAW and you fix that. You know what I mean? It's essential. Okay? It's essential, because you want to give your customers, like I said, a perfect product. So developing a workflow is very important, and it helps you streamline your job, so you're getting stuff out to the customers faster. They're excited about their work, they're happy about the work they get, and it just makes you look a lot more professional. Maybe you could even add a logo. If you send stuff on a CD, add a logo on a CD. Don't just write your name on a CD or whatever. Have a logo or whatever that you print and put over the CD to make it look like more than just a CD with some written stuff on it. Like, go above and beyond. Okay, this is how you're gonna. It's how you're gonna keep customers. How you're gonna keep customers calling you back. Also, gear is a big question. Like, what gear should you have? so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. I can't answer that question for you. All I can say is, if it works for you, it's good enough. A lot of people will tell you, you need this lens or this camera body or this and that and the other. I will say I'm a big fan of nice, bright, big lenses. I believe there's nothing better than a nice, bright, big lens on whatever body you want to put it on. So that, I do believe in that. So you will have to invest in lenses, in bodies, in gear to go along with flash, things of this nature. Whatever the nature of photography you're doing, you're going to have to invest in gear that's going to complement that. You don't have to start off with a whole bunch of crap, okay? You can start off minimally and then build up along the way, but make sure you have a plan of building up, so that way you can, as you progress, you can have more stuff and look more professional, and just have what you need when you need it there all the time. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what being a professional is about. It's about having your tools with you when you need them to get the job done. Setting your price is number 8. Setting your price is a tricky thing, because nowadays with digital photography, your workflow can be very simple or it can be very complex, whatever you desire. So for instance, say like if I'm doing, I'll say portraits and stuff like this, or maybe even I'll say fashion photography, something like that, and I take 30, 40 photos in a 1-hour shoot or whatever. I might not have taken that many photos, but my post-processing is going to be a long time. So I have to factor that in to setting my price. You get what I'm saying? So even if you don't really post-process, if you take a whole bunch of photos, like say at an event or something, you wind up taking 300, 400 photos, something like that. A lot of times it's more than that, but I'm just giving you that number. Then your workflow isn't really that much. Then you still have a lot of pictures. So it's like, it balances out. So when you set your price, you got to figure out, am I getting what I should have gotten for this job? And you can only answer that question. Nobody can answer that question for you. You know what I mean? And a lot of times you can be timid and say, okay, I'm not going to set my prices too high because I don't want to scare people away and stuff like this. I'm going to tell you like this. If you're talented, that's what people want. That's what people are paying for, is your talent. So if you're talented, don't be scared to ask for what you're worth. You know what I mean? If you're not talented, setting prices up too high might get you sued. Okay? But if you're talented, then, and you know what you're doing, and you're very professional about what you do, and you keep your stuff very tight knit and very just professional, then setting prices, you shouldn't worry about setting prices, because that's what people want to pay for. They want to pay for a professional photographer that's going to give them what they want. And the last tip, number 9, is hustle. Hustle, 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 hustle. Hustle, because you gotta hustle. It's just, I mean, what else do I have to say? That's self-explanatory. Get out there, get your name out there. Stop being scared of talking about your photography. Stop being scared of showing your photography. Let people know that you're a good photographer, okay? Have the work to back it up, but let them know. And don't be scared to go out there and promote yourself. You know what I mean? Don't be scared to go out there and just go balls to the wall, as it were, and just do what you know that you're called to do in life. So that's basically a few tips for me about starting a photography business. And if it helped you out at all, you could leave comments, you can like, you can subscribe, obviously, you can friend me on Facebook, you can find me on Google+. There's a lot of ways to get in contact with me. So yeah, just hope you stay tuned to the next few videos or whatever, and thank you for watching this one, and I'll talk to you later. Peace out.